I have been selling this book, Zanazli and Wan Chun Hong's Guide to Indie Filmmaking, which is published by MPH. For a while now. It's a really good book if you want to be a filmmaker, whether it's for YouTube, social media, TV, film, cinema, whatever. This is the book to get. I'm going to make it more accessible and more affordable to all of you because I believe that everybody needs to become a filmmaker. The more filmmakers we have in the world, I think this world will be a better place to live in. Now it's available as an electronic book download on my website. I'm going to link it here. It's really cheap, it's really affordable. It's only 5 ringgit if you want to get the ebook version. Okay, 5 ringgit. It doesn't really cost much, right? It's just a little bit of something for me. I mean, it did take a lot of work to write. Each chapter of this book talks about one part of the filmmaking process. And for each chapter as well, I interview a local filmmaker. It's only 5 ringgit. It's only 5 ringgit. Alright. We are watching the Fat Bidin Film Club. You're watching and listening to the Fat Bidin Film Club, and I'm assuming I'm Zanazli.
And I'm Shari.
And as usual, every week we watch a local film and we review it. Right, but this time, as usual, also, it's the Hari Raya season. And what do we do best during the Hari Raya season?
Puasa.
Yeah, I mean, puasa is a given. But yes, what do we do best during the the Hari Raya season? You cannot be too long because I'm going to cut this into a less than 1 minute, 60-second promo for Instagram.
We're going to watch Hari Raya ads 2021.
Hari Raya ads, which usually every year sucks. Alright? I don't see if anything's going to be any different this year.
Okay.
Okay, so we saw a couple of Hari Raya ads. We always pick 5, is it?
Yeah, we always pick 5.
Randomly, we just pick any lah.
And it's always the first 5 that come out on our watch list. So it's
on
not
YouTube.
like we necessarily have a favorite. But there you go.
Okay, so it's has it been like is it a Raya mood?
I don't know.
Is there a Raya mood this year?
What do you think my mood is right now?
I don't know. You're not fasting, so you're not hungry.
I'm not asking you, asking the viewers.
Okay, she's not fasting, so she can't be hungry.
Yeah, but I'm bleeding, so it's not great either, you know.
Oh wow, period spot checks. You got cotton swab?
You can check the dustbin upstairs.
Dustbin upstairs. But yeah, okay, so I don't know. It's the MCO.
Yeah, so we're celebrating our second
MCO Hari Raya
in MCO CM. Well, last year was CMCO lah. Now it's MCO. But only if you live in like certain states.
Because the MCO is only in Selangor in KL.
No.
And Penang, Johor.
Johor also got.
Penang, Johor.
Yeah.
You know.
In other places is like.
Kelantan wants to call for MCO, but no, they're not calling MCO.
Anyway.
So.
Yeah. Okay, so last year, I think let's do a little recap, okay, and let's talk about the Hari Raya ads last year.
Last year,
all the Hari Raya ads were about looking at your cell phone and walaupun jauh, masih dekat.
Zoom Hari Raya.
Zoom Raya. Yeah. Oh, macam mana nak masak rendang, kita rindu mak, mau kita.
And because cannot gather to shoot big production, they do animation.
They do animation.
Like Petronas make animation.
You know, that's this year.
No, last year.
Last year also?
Yeah, it was an animation. The bird flying out, remember?
No, last year Petronas was the 2 houses, no?
Yeah, and it was animation.
The bird flying is this year. We just saw it just now.
No, sayang.
Oh, last year was also a bird
yes,
flying.
Petronas made a...
We will link it and check this.
You will link it. I don't want to go back and look for the link and then put it into the video.
I will send you the link to put into the video lah. Okay, bro. Anyway, okay, so let's talk about our first ad this year.
Julie's Biscuit.
Okay.
I love Julie's Biscuits.
Yes.
Love letters is something that I've been eating from when I was a kid until now.
Yeah.
I can eat a whole tin at one go.
Yeah, he's a horrible parent in this regard because he'll be eating the bloody tin and then the children will be like, can we have some? And I'm like, no, it's 9 o'clock at night. And he'll be like, but I'm eating it.
I can eat it for sahur also. One whole tin.
Yeah. He's literally like Amirul Effendi in the ad.
Yeah! So the ad has like pretty cool people in it. Got Amirul Effendi, got the Shafira, the comedian, and who is that? The makcik, the one that wants to drive the car, Fauzia Nawi.
Mostly it's
Right?
Amirul Effendi.
Yeah,
lah.
but-
We're always
yeah.
here for Amirul Effendi
Yeah.
and his
So-
bros.
That has to be the best Hari Raya ad this year.
Yeah. Potentially of all time also.
Have
you seen any better ones, honestly?
I mean, years ago, last time when
Maybe
the sad crying trend first started, it was great lah. Then after that, it became every year and became cliched already, and I don't want to watch anymore lah. Yeah. So tell us about the ad.
Okay, so the Julie's Biscuit ad is about a director who's trying to shoot a Raya ad. So it starts off with Fauzia Nawi at the window, Jilala, nak I tell you balik Raya. Then she's like, hey, hello. Why can't I just go and see my children?
Then she calls the
Amirul
director,
Effendi's
right?
like, tak leh, how you going to go? Then she's like, tu kan ada kereta. And he's like, tak, tu kita prop.
Tapi skrip dah cakap macam ni.
It's like, ni iklan raya, okay?
Ni
Ni iklan
iklan
raya.
raya.
And then they cut to another scene where there's an makcik
Talking to
makcik
the
cutting
daughter or the
bawang,
niece or something
talking to
like
the
that,
daughter. And she's like, you ni bila nak? Bila
Bila
nak?
nak kah?
Bila? Then
Bila
she
nak
cannot
kah?
bring herself to say it. Then she's like, tak ada benda lain ke nak talk about?
Cakap sekawin je.
Then after that,
She said, I like the part where she said, takkan tak boleh cerita pasal ekonomi ke, pasal gender equality ke.
Gender equality ke, whatever. And then after that, Amirul Effendi is like,
Dalam skrip.
And then he's like, no, ni ad raya, okay? Ni ad raya. Then she says, is there another scene that I'm in? Asyik dan dapur je. Then he's like, ada, nanti you die.
Yeah.
And she's like annoyed. Then the next scene is the
daughter
girl,
trying to cook, right?
The girl is cooking the rendang in the kitchen. It's sad because her mother has died and she's trying to cook the rendang. And then she's like, why am I cooking alone? Don't I have siblings?
Yeah.
And then it cuts to like her
The
two male
brothers.
siblings who's just like eating love letters. And then Amirul Effendi is like, why are all these people asking me all these questions? It's a Raya ad. Don't you understand it's a Raya ad?
And then her brother
And then
says,
the brother's like, actually, I'm very
good at cooking. Can I go in the kitchen and be in the
He's like,
scene?
no.
No, dalam skrip.
Ni ad Raya, okay? Ni ad Raya.
Yeah.
And then it's over lah. Then after that, the message comes out. Don't get too stuck on your old scripts. It's time to change the narrative. Selamat Hari Raya.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
Yeah,
it was entertaining. It was funny. It captured the Raya spirit. It had social commentary to it. Everything. I thought it was great lah.
Yeah, it was incredibly progressive and very simply done. So it wasn't too in your face, which I really liked. And like you said, entertaining, funny, and subtle lah. So it's always very nice when feminist messages and values are brought up in a subtle way, because then it doesn't feel too imposed upon you or too woke. And it also doesn't feel very angry, because people like to say feminists are angry, right? And I thought that it was carried out really, really well.
We should remind
very
you,
classy.
The workshop that I went to this morning, they were talking about angry feminists and the approach of how feminists should bring out the issues. Anyway, I know I attended this women's issues, gender,
So do you feel like
masculinity
this
thing
Julie's ad-
that was targeted specifically for like male journalists.
So do you feel like this Julie's ad
Yeah.
the messages in the right way?
It was. It wasn't angry. It was entertaining, and I'm like, yeah, true. Hey, why can't? Yeah, it's. I don't know. It's good lah.
It's good lah. Very
Yeah.
classy, very empowering. Like you said, the best ad this year.
Then after that, we watched Maxis, Shopee, Digi, Petronas.
Yeah.
Blah. Supposed to be sad, supposed to be crying, supposed to be emotional.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about the second one that I kind of liked
Yeah.
after the Julie's one, which was the DG one.
The Digi one was which one? Okay.
The DG one stars, I think, Leisha.
Sharifah
or is
Amani.
it still Sharifah Amani?
Sharifah Amani.
Oh, it's still Sharifah Amani, not
Yeah.
her sister even.
No.
Oh, okay.
And Namron.
And Namron.
That's right, and Namron.
Yeah, and Namron.
Oh, got Kerengga. We are shooting in the Kerengga zone.
In a garden that he hasn't, cut the grass for, I don't even know how long. Anyway.
Every month. I cut it once a month. And the gardener is coming tomorrow. Yeah, see? No more already Kerengga. There's no Kerengga.
Anyway, so Sharifah Amani once again plays a young girl, even though I don't think she's
like 40 already.
shouldn't be playing a young girl anymore. Let her sister, who's an actual young girl, play a young girl in university, get a nod.
But that's what acting is all about. Acting is supposed to
anyway, so Sharifah Amani plays a young university student, I think, who's a little bit short of money, and then
Cannot
her
pay
father
rent and
runs
tuition fees, right?
her father runs a kedai runcit. So her father says, I have had to let go of my workers and everything. Why don't you come back and help me? So she goes and then she's helping her father in the shop. She sees her father keep giving like bags of stuff
Groceries
to
lah,
people. Groceries lah, basically. And it's like, oh, tak apa. Ni abang bagi, tak apa. And then one day she just like snaps. She's like, why are you just giving things to people?
No,
this auntie lah, that budak lah, what lah.
In between, she's doing the millennial thing of complaining on Twitter.
No, Facebook.
Twitter, constantly tweeting her frustrations.
Yeah, and then...
To who, I don't know lah.
And then she like storms off. And her father's always writing like a 555 book for whatever reason. And then in the end, one day she follows someone who her father has given one of these grocery bags to. So she follows this guy back to this guy's house. And then it turns out this guy is a single father taking care of a disabled child. And then she like damn malu lah, okay? And then she takes the 555 book and then she reads it. And then she's like, the next day she starts taking like groceries. Early in the morning she takes groceries all from the house, from the shop. And then she locks the shop and she goes and gives the groceries to everybody in the 555 book. Because it turns out basically all of them are like orang susah lah. Single mothers lah, single fathers lah. People who have no means to basically buy groceries lah. And then after that
she feels bad lah.
When she finally gives like the final bag of groceries, she sees her father and then she salam her father and she says, I'm so sorry. And then her father says, oh, it's okay.
Typical Namron fashion.
And then they both hug and cry. And then the ad's over. And it basically talks about like, oh, even if you don't have a lot, what's important is to always give other people first or something like that. And it's always about like love. And, you know, it's not necessarily about just thinking about your own hardship lah. I know you're gonna say that it was still very cliche and whatever.
I've got more to say. More than this,
but
that.
I felt like, okay, look, I feel like in the time of the pandemic, right, everybody's going through some shit, you know, and everybody's going through something difficult. And it was just a very nice reminder to remind people like, it is not really a every man for themselves situation, or it doesn't have to be an every man for themselves situation. And some people will still have it harder, some people will still have it worse. I think you and I, from the beginning of the pandemic, we always talked about this and we already said, like, we realized, like, we're very lucky, we've got a garden, you know, we've still got jobs and things like that. But some people out there might not feel like that, and they might not feel so grateful or so lucky. So I felt like, yeah lah, actually, and especially, you know, people who are complaining on Twitter, like Sharifah Amani's character in the thing, probably less likely to be more grateful, you know. So I thought it was a good message lah, and I don't know, maybe because it was Sharifah Amani and Namron, it didn't really feel so bad to watch. I kind of did like watching it. It wasn't too...
They're good performance lah.
Too cliche or too horrible. I mean, the storyline, if you look at it, yeah, memang
100%
like,
cliche.
yeah, but the performance made it better lah for me. But I remember like watching Namron anyway, and Sharifah Amani is okay, I guess. Yeah, so that's why it's like not the worst one.
I had an issue with the fact that they're trying to say, hey, help people even though you can't help yourself. I actually agree with Sharifah Amani's initial character. You know, when she was angry, saying that her father should help, you know, make sure that they can survive first before they can help other people. I am of the belief that we help. I want to help, right? But we help where we can and how we can. And I think it's a little bit irresponsible for Namron as a father, not Namron as a person, but in the show, like in the story.
Namron's character as a father.
To neglect his own daughter's education, to pay her tuition fees, to pay her rent, to help other people. Now, yes, help other people, but make sure that you can take care of your own home first. And then go and help other people.
Aha. But did he really neglect paying her tuition fees or rent? Because in the ad, right?
I was going to go to that. I was going to get to that. Yeah.
She didn't tell him what? That she needed rent money in the end.
Okay. Now this is even worse. You send your child off to another town to study and you don't keep tabs of your child and their tuition and all that. I keep tabs of my children. You know, you and I, we both keep tabs of our kids. You know, PIBG fees, whatever. We don't, yes, we expect them to be responsible to tell us, but we still keep tabs. Right? And it is a little bit of irresponsibility there on the side of the father. And We don't know in the end what happens. Does he actually pay her tuition? Does she have to give up her studies and come and join her father and manage the sundry shop in the kampong? Is there good that comes out of helping other people? Is there bad that comes out of helping other people? We don't know. And then it just ends there. It's better, I feel, a better story to illustrate that fact would have been the Maxis one. Aziz M. Osman.
I will get to that.
Okay. So that one, tell us about. You want to tell us about that? That one?
We're moving on already. I wasn't done.
Okay. Go on. And then later we can talk about the Maxis one lah.
Because I understand what you're saying, but also you have to realize that Namran wasn't helping these other people in like a monetary manner.
Yes.
So I didn't feel like it was such a big deal lah. I thought that he was really just doing what he could with whatever he had.
But he was giving things that would have rewarded him monetarily, financially.
He's got an entire store.
Yeah.
One packet of biscuits, no made difference.
But it wasn't one. That's the thing. It wasn't one packet. She was helping so many families.
Okay, 5 packets of biscuits in the.
You are simplifying it. You are simplifying it. This is his business. He's sacrificing his business, his source of revenue, which he would use to support his daughter's education. Now, I'm not saying don't help these people. Help in the means that he can.
Yeah, and I'm saying that is the means that he can.
By
because
sacrificing.
He wasn't like doing a free for all where it's like everything in the entire shop is free.
I know.
That wasn't the case. Why?
But he doesn't have enough to pay his daughter's tuition, right?
He doesn't know that she needs the money to pay the tuition.
Again, that's his fault. Doesn't he know? Doesn't he know that he's supposed to pay his daughter's tuition?
That's a separate issue lah. That he's not keeping tabs on his daughter's finances is separate from the fact that he's helping people with his shop.
And would it not be right for his daughter to be angry? Hey, where's your responsibility, your priorities now?
Where's your responsibility to tell your father you need the money?
Maybe she already feels bad, but where's the... Okay, if she has that responsibility, doesn't her father also have a responsibility to know?
Maybe he thinks like, okay, you never tell me, see, it means you're okay lah. Do you actually remember every time when you need to pay the fees? Also no, right?
Oh, you have to, ma. You don't have to owe people. Like, if you rent a house or your monthly installments for your car or home, you have to pay, huh?
Yeah, but there are times when people will remind you, like schools will remind us, right? For example, schools will remind us, or your children will remind you if they need money for whatever. So maybe Namran is just the kind of father like, I paid the fee the first time, and then like, she hasn't come, maybe it's not due yet. I don't know.
But
he seems like the character is a very simple man lah. So I also want to take into account the fact that maybe he's not like as organized as say a producer in managing his life lah.
That's what I'm saying also.
But
because when like Alitia's kindergarten fees, right? Sometimes when we don't get the message, I will ask her, hey, don't we have to pay the fees yet?
But to see
he doesn't think of that.
Yeah, because maybe she never asked. So to see that he's irresponsible just feels a little bit strong lah.
But then you're saying she is irresponsible.
No, I said that it's also her responsibility if she needed the money to ask. So she didn't ask.
And
so then she expects the father to just know.
Not to just know, but the father should also have some concern.
Yeah lah, but if you already needed the money, why you never asked? I understand because she felt bad because the father already said, I had to let people go, times are hard. But this is your education, right? It means something to you. And then if you really don't want to burden your father also, why did you not then go get a job?
Because the father asked you to go home.
Okay, then you can say I cannot go home, I need the money. Basically, all of this can be solved if they were both just a little bit more honest with each other.
So that's why I have a problem with this story. It sucks.
It doesn't really suck lah.
You guys tell us. You guys watch it and then let us know.
Yeah.
Right?
Clearly, we're going to move on to the next one.
Yeah,
Alright,
you guys tell us what you all think.
The Maxis ad.
What was the Maxis ad about? Aziz and Osman?
Oh, the Maxis ad is
kept
about...
buying things for the wife.
The Maxis ad is where there's a husband and wife, and then the wife is like, okay, this year, no MCO, so can celebrate Raya big. Haha, jokes on you, auntie. MCO anyway.
Yeah.
But, okay, so the point is, she says, she gets to celebrate Raya. So the first thing she does is make her husband's favourite cookies, right?
Yeah.
And then guess what? Her husband already buys literally barrel full of cookies back. And then after that...
She jahit baju.
She jahit baju. The husband buy new baju Raya. And then she gets really angry. And then she's like, what's wrong with you? Why is it everything I do also not good enough for you already? You just keep buying everything. And then her husband says,
we have a little bit more rezeki this year. So when we buy things from people, we are helping them also to continue with their business, with their lives. We're helping them, right? So why not use this way as a means of paying it forward and distributing wealth lah, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the wife like, oh yeah, and then they were happy.
And then celebrate Raya lah.
Okay. It was a Maxis/Shopee ad, right?
No, it's a Maxis ad because the Maxis ad was featuring all the local entrepreneurs.
No, but he had a Shopee logo next to Maxis.
Oh, maybe lah. But so everything that they bought or whatever had like featured local people lah, local entrepreneurs. Yeah.
So I thought that was a more realistic and logical way of saying that, hey, we should think of others. You know, he's not thinking of about himself. He's not sacrificing anything because he said ada sikit rezeki lebih tahun ni. So kita tolong orang. I mean, we've been doing that since the first MCO also. Kan? If we can help, we help. If we can buy krepek from the guy that keeps selling to us at Azira, we buy. You know? Yeah, so that's how, I don't know, to me it was more realistic in helping people lah. It was a nice, it was a little bit cliche, right? I didn't think it was the best advertisement. But yeah, compared to the Namron one, the DG one, right? I thought this was better lah.
Okay, so I felt that this Maxis ad is catered to memang the people who have.
Yeah.
Whereas the DG ad is catered to people who don't have a lot, but they're trying to tell them that, you know, even when you don't have a lot, there is still something you can do.
Yeah.
And I think both messages are equally good and equally important. It's just, maybe, okay, the execution for the DG one was a little not as good as the Maxis one. But the target audience also is potentially different because like
the haves and the have-nots.
Yeah, the have and the have-nots. Because like in the Maxis one, it's we have extra. We have like, you know, rezeki lebih. This one is like, the rezeki is actually just cukup-cukup ni. Not even really. But you know, even in that kind of situation, there are people worse off than you and you can still help them. So I didn't think there was anything wrong with both the messages. It's just
the messages, no problem. Yeah,
it's just that
the method of telling
execution, number one, and then number two, also the target audience because the Maxis one is memang a little bit more to like you said lah, to us. So you can relate to it better because we have, I guess,
the same situation
almost
relatable.
It's more relatable than, you know, someone who doesn't really have as much and still can help other people.
Then I would like to call on another advertisement, the Petronas one. Everybody in that neighborhood didn't have much, but at the end everybody helped a little. I give you some rendang, you give me a tong gas, you know, and the whole neighborhood came together. Everybody giving little because that's all they had. That was a much better method of, you know, of conveying the message of helping even though we don't have much. But better than the DG one where there's number one, I don't pay my daughter's fees.
He didn't say that.
Of course he didn't. He just neglected it. He just forgot about it.
This is so stressful.
He was thinking about all these other families and not his daughter.
He said he wasn't thinking about his daughter lah. Just apa-apa je lah.
He just forgot about his daughter's tuition.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, the Petronas one. Do you want to go to the Petronas?
Okay, so the Petronas one, like you said, it's about everybody living in sort of like this taman, and then there's like this really garang auntie who like makes rendang, and everybody's like waiting for her rendang, but she doesn't. She lives next to like a rumah bujang
who drives, who are like Grab drivers, delivery drivers.
Boys lah. So these 3 young boys, and then she's always like not very nice to them, and then when she give rendang all to everybody, she never give them.
No, she ordered gas, remember?
No, she ran out of gas, and then the boy brought the gas to her house.
It was actually his tong gas from his house.
Then, after that, at the end of the ad, basically everybody sort of gives these the bujang boys like something lah, a little bit of something lah, because they cannot go home, everything, right?
Including the makcik.
And the story about it was like, oh, you know, we live in a community, whatever we have, we share lah. So then we thought it was good lah. But like he said, because also it's the same message of whatever you have, you sort of pool together and share with each other. But I personally didn't like the execution.
I didn't like it too. It was lousy.
It was firstly purely animation, but it was done in a very almost campy manner, and all the characters were very, very almost, I want to say 2-dimensional, but they were kind of even 1-dimensional at some points. So it wasn't the message was good, but the way that it was executed was not great lah.
It felt to me like a MMU student project.
Bit lah. So just not, yeah. And there's like a singing bird. My son enjoyed it a lot. He's 2 though.
Yeah,
so.
he's 2 years old going, bird, bird, bird. But yeah, it was bad quality lah. It was low quality. It looked like a student project. From not just the animation quality or technical quality, but actually the storytelling also. Yeah.
Just that the core message was good lah.
Yeah.
And then finally we land on the Shopee ad. A Shopee short film.
This is the one with Jalaluddin Hassan, right?
so
Who's
this
now
is-
quite boncet.
This is called Dodo Padola.
Yeah, but he's still quite a good performer.
Yeah, so he basically apparently used to make dodol, and then he starts calling his children. He got AirPods, okay? Then he called his children with his AirPods, squatting in the middle of his garden
In the
with
kampung.
his phone in the kampung, and he's like, "Ayah nak buat dodol lah tahun ni." And then the kids are like, "No lah, I don't want. Why don't you just buy? It's very difficult lah. Then my nails get dirtier." Then suddenly the next day he gets sick. Then he gets sick, then he just meroyan all day, every day about wanting dodol. So eventually the kids
The wife called the kids, right?
The kids pull together and they make the dodol lah.
They go buy all
But
the
then
stuff
they
lah.
forgot to buy gula Melaka.
No, they bought gula dari Melaka,
Yeah.
not gula Melaka.
So then there's one of the Jalaluddin Hassan's grandson basically buys the gula Melaka from Shopee. And then okay, they make the dodol, and then he wakes up and then he's like all happy, and then the kids are angry. They're like, Allah, should have just like bought the dodol, not like he would know the difference.
Then their mother had to
sits
sit them down and basically explain the entire
explains to
advertisement.
them, oh, it's about family, it's about spending time together, this is what your father wants, blah 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 blah. And then they're all like, sorry Abba. And then everybody hugs and they take a raya picture together.
No, then the BMW drives in.
then he's like, oh,
and then he
nak
meroyan
kereta,
again,
nak
nak kereta, nak kereta, nak kereta.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I thought it was lousy.
So yeah,
I like watching Jalaluddin Hassan though. But other than that,
I don't know. We get it. It's about family and it's about spending time together, and not forgetting that family is important.
too preachy, too preachy.
But literally, having a character sit other characters down to explain your entire
Story.
message is a bit much, lah.
Might as well
friend.
just have that scene only.
why
Explain
don't
everything
you just put it all in text?
Yeah.
Like, it was way too, I wouldn't even call it preachy. It was just so explainer. Like, everything was just such an explainer. Like, if you had just had them make the dodol and have a good time about it, and then at the end he also sort of like is just sitting around looking kind of pleased with himself, we would have gotten it already lah. He didn't need his mother to like sit down and explain to the children and then have them all apologize and everything. That was it's a bit too much lah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Lousy.
yeah, we didn't like that one. Yeah, so those were our 5 Hari Raya ads of 2021.
I have to say, I only like the Julie Biscuits one lah, really. As much as we were arguing about the DG lah, the Petronas lah, the Maxis and all that, they all kind of suck lah.
Okay, look. So I'm actually happy that the first 3 ads, at least, or actually almost all the ads have good messages, and that this year it wasn't just about walaupun jauh, biarlah dekat. And
It's
that
more about
wasn't
helping lah.
the blanket bloody message across the board lah.
No, because it's society. At that time, people didn't know how complex COVID was going to be.
Yeah.
They just thought we couldn't go out.
Yeah.
And then now people really feel it,
Yeah, so this year you can see that the ads have also matured with the times slightly. Although I can't really say the times have matured because here we are in a third MCO. So yeah, but it's nice that the messaging is about helping each other. It's nice that everyone is thinking about helping each other, and that's being conveyed through all these ads. Even at different classes of society, you would say.
Yeah.
Whether or not the execution is well, that's subject to, I guess, argument.
It's all not well, except for Julie's Biscuit.
Yeah, but Julie's Biscuit had a different message. So that was really, really good, and like the freshest one lah in all of
And
it.
done well. Written
And done
well,
well,
executed
yes.
well, directed well, shot
Acted
well.
well.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you guys have any other Raya ads that you'd like us to watch?
We're not going to watch it anyway. We already reviewed we got our Raya episode out already. But you can tell us what you saw and what you all think lah.
What you like lah.
Tell us about what you thought our argument was all about. What did you all think about it? Right?
Yeah.
And this is the longest time Cheryl has ever let me rest my arm on her shoulders. She has never let me rest my arm over her shoulders more than like 2 seconds. Because she said heavy lah, berat lah, what lah, hot lah, what lah. And this is the longest. Yeah. So let us know what you think, right? Follow us on all our social media platforms. Subscribe, like this video, don't like this video, subscribe. Follow us on all our social media platforms. Go to fatbidin.com to get everything. You've been watching and listening to the Fat Bidin Film Club. I'm assuming I'm Zan Azli.
And I'm Isha, it was the
And
one.
Selamat Hari Raya.
Selamat Hari Raya.
Tit.